get people to be excited about chiropractic, and those some of the people that I saw that I just see that weren't going to make it. So it's up to you to bring that. When you bring passion, even if you don't know what you're doing, even if you don't know anything, but if you bring passion to the game, it changes. It changes, and then you have something to be excited about. So number one is passion, that trait. You got to have that. The second one is vision. This is something that's so deep that I think that vision is like where you're going, where you're seeing. So our vision at Health and Earth is to be a great, enduring company known for reconnecting people back to the source. That means we've been through some things. We've been through Obamacare. We've been through all these different things. We've been through multiple offices. But we're still known for reconnecting people back to the power that made them through the chiropractic adjustment. It's that simple. It's in my DNA. Now I have a vision for myself. Now I'm going to share something with you that I haven't really shared with anybody else. So you got to think about what's the vision for your life. I'm a big person on vision boards and visualizing stuff. I'm going to tell you this. I can sit down and I've gotten like this. And if I can see, I can say, man, this is my day. I'm going through like a Spike Lee movie. I'm just floating through the office, man. Oh, man. Then next thing you know, I'm adjusting. People are walking in. I'm going to see 3 new patients today. Guess what walked in the door? 3 new patients. Because I believe it and I attract it. It's the same thing. You need to have one for your life. You need to have one for your family. You need to have one for your finances. You need to have one for your roles in your team. If I gave you a $150,000 office right now with everything you need, digital x-ray, whatever system you wanted, what would you do? What would you do with it? That's how you got to think now. That's what I'm talking about with vision. That's what I do. So what happens is technology too, it's systems. What do systems look like? Your office should not look like 1980. It's 2016. Upgrade of technology. Put some paint on the wall. If you can't afford, go in there and paint one room at a time. You can get some cousins. Pookie and them can come in there and paint the office for $20. Might not be the Sharon Williams paint you want, but you can make something happen. Even if you don't have technology, act like it's already there. Visualize it and you will attract it. I created a vision board in 2004 that I had taped in a closet. My first house was a townhouse. I had taped in a closet. My mother-in-law wrote baby on it. She baby diapers. Because we had Madison up. Madison was on the way. Or something like that. So she, after that, Madison, so I kept it in the closet for 2 years and I would look at it every day when I would go there to get my clothes. Do you know I've gotten everything on that vision board? I realized why I hit a plateau in life is because my vision, I outgrew my vision. I got it and then I stopped. And so what now I'm doing is I'm creating an enormous vision for my life, for my family. All the way down to the Rolex, to the house with no neighbors in the back, to the car, to a boy and a girl. I always said I wanted a boy and a girl, and I have a boy and a girl. That's the ability of attraction. That's vision. What do you have for your life? There's a quote right here that says, vision without action is just a dream. So you can visualize all you want, but you got to get up and you got to get moving. Action without vision is just passing time by. Those are the people with high energy that have all this energy and this passion, but they have no vision. So they're like a high performance vehicle with no direction. They're just sitting there spinning wheels, doing donuts in the parking lot. So what happens is vision with action you can change the world. So you got that vision and you do something every day to do that. Every day to do that. That's what's going to get it there. And that's a very inspiring quote that I put there. I was like, man, you know, this is really amazing here that we can do this. The third one is purpose. So first is what? What's the first principle? What's the second? Vision. Third is purpose. This is very important. This is why most people, because this is the thing, docs always want to know how. Doc, how can I get new patients? How can I do this? You have to get clear on your why first. I could give you a blueprint, a Bible on what happens, on what you need to do every day. But if you don't know why you're doing it, it doesn't make sense. So what it is this is the thing I say, people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. So they got, people drive by 30 chiropractors to get to my office. I make it known why I'm different, why they should come see me. That's what they call it in the business plan, a USP, unique selling position or point. So you have to create why you're doing it, why, and it has to be compelling. Some people say, oh, I'm gonna give you a chiropractic adjustment. You know what I say? I'm gonna give you an adjustment that's gonna change your life. Now, which one would you want? I'm gonna give you an adjustment. And then you say it with no confidence. I'm like, oh, Lord, please. It keeps you focused. So when you have those, most people think success is like this, right? Oh, we're just climbing up the ladder. Success is like this. Then you might stay down, then you might stay up. So that's what's going to keep you focused when you're actually having those low points. When there are days you don't feel like doing it. That's what's going to keep you focused, that purpose. And I can't say it enough. I get docs that call me all the time. Doc, how do you do this? Can you send me this? Can you send me that? I can send you that. But I said, what's the purpose of your office? And then they draw a blank. And they're like, why does your office exist? And then they pull up some BS, right? And I said, well, that sucks. Like, I wouldn't come see you. I'm going to be honest with you. And I'm getting to the point now, I just turned 40 January the 5th. I don't really care too much about what people think about me. And about what I know what my vision is and what I'm trying to do. And what it is now is I just go and I just tell the truth. And people like that, and they respect it, but it keeps you focused. So number 3 is purpose. Now the other one, number 4, is fear to fuel. You need to change and turn your fear into fuel. And you always market it. I have a friend, Dr. Jeff, he's a chiropractor. Me and him hang together sometimes. We go have coffee and lunch. But he says this thing, it's ABL, it's always be looking. ABL, always be looking. You're always looking for new patients. ABL, you always got business cards. You're always talking to people about the principle. The number one thing that people are scared of is public speaking. The first time that I had to get up and speak in front of some people, I was so nervous. I think I lost like 5 pounds of sweat and all that stuff. But then what happened is I just did it. And I jumped. And when I landed, I was right there on the ledge, and it just got easier and easier. Now, still to this day, when I speak in front of 200, 300 people, you still get those butterflies. And I was talking to Dr. Reekman not too long ago, and he was like, that's good. He said, I still get them. I said, what? I said, man, you're like a master. I always wanted what you had. You walk into the room and people's posture change. I said, I want that. And so I was just telling him this at Parker, and he was like, man, I still get those. He said, it keeps you fresh. It keeps you sharp. So that's a good thing. But the problem is when you let that scarcity paralyze you, and you don't move. And you see that guy walking and you're at the gym and you don't give him a business card. You don't say, hey, I'm Dr. So-and-so. I'm a chiropractic student. Let me give you my card. Let me see if I can do anything to help you. And you just let them walk by. And then they go to their medical doctor to get a cortisone shot. And end up with liver problems. Or take Tylenol every day. Don't be afraid to share your story. Don't be afraid to talk to people, man. All they're going to do is say no. You know, I always take it back to high school. I used to say, hey girl, you got with me, how you doing? I said, no, I figured out how to say yes. You don't figure it out. Now I just talk to people, some people still tell me no. Yeah, I was talking one time and the guy in the back was like, oh, you're not a real doctor, you're a quack. You gotta be solid on your why so that's gonna come. People are gonna challenge you. They're gonna devalue chiropractic because the world does it. You gotta bring that value back to it. And that's why you gotta be solid on it. So you got to get hungry. It's all about the hunt. You got to get hungry every day. It's all about the hunt. Every day, I tell you, you got days off and stuff like that, but you're thinking about your vision. You're going. Because there's abundance of people. I live in a city. That's one of the reasons I went to see. It's 10 million people in the Chicago radius. 10 million people. You tell me I can't get 100 people in there a week? So I'm playing the game wrong. This is your life work. You got to play the game right. So you got to take that fear and you got to let it push you to the next level. Let it push you to the next level. You're always marketing. You're always talking about your practice. You're always talking about life. You're always talking and sharing stories. You don't always have to be about chiropractic. I don't want to talk about chiropractic every day, but it's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing. Some of the stuff we see. The third one is you got to be a chiropractic gladiator warrior. You know, I love them gladiator movies, man. I love the Rocky when he's standing up there. I love Wolf on Wall Street. There's another one. I love the new Creed. Did y'all see the new Creed? What y'all think, right? That's a sequel? But that was inspirational. You walk out of there, man, you're like, man, this is going to be awesome. This is an awesome life. So this chiropractic warrior and gladiator mentality, that means that you come into play to win. You got to get good at adjusting. At the end of the day, you need to learn how to adjust. I can't stress it. One of the things when I talk to docs and they sit up here, as soon as you lay your hands on them, I can tell if you're confident or not. You need to be practicing all the time. Your hands are going to do some of the talking sometimes that your mouth can't. And so you want to be able to talk with your hands. You want to be able to communicate very well with that. So when you look at this right here, that confidence key, practice adjusting. I'll tell you one thing, and I shouldn't say, my wife, I just saw my wife, if she was here, I practice on my wife so much, to this day, it's still hard to adjust her. She's still scared. I mean, I'll be like, sit down, let me go. And she's like, oh man, you know, she's like, oh, I'm going to another chiropractor. I was like, okay. You know, I got a table, a whole like office, mini office in my basement. So it's like to the point where you have to practice, you have to get that. You're no different than BJ or Gonstead. You're no different. They were just a little bit more hungry than you were. They eat, break, sleep. They didn't even have $100,000 and some loan. Right. They were riding horses around. I mean, this is the thing. This is the thing. So chiropractors adjust. My other thing too is don't get caught up in all this other stuff. Acupuncture is cool, you know, massage is cool, but at the end of the day we adjust, and don't negate the power of the adjustment because somebody values a massage higher than an adjustment. You need to really communicate with them and let them know the value of what you do. Right. It's very important. I mean, I got docs in my office and they were getting an acupuncture degree, and she was all into this studying these different things, and I was like, you can't adjust. Like, I'm gonna be honest, you need to work on your adjustments. And what got me one day is in one office I had a cover in another office which she was going to train and take over. We had people come in. 11 patients walked out because they didn't want her to adjust them. You know, I've had over 15 different associates. That's a problem. Yes, sir. Hey, you walking in my door and you walking out and you're not getting adjusted. That's a problem. So we have a serious conversation. So that's what I'm saying. Learn to adjust. And this is the thing. I wasn't always a good adjuster, but as you go, you will get better. You just got to get your hands on people. Go on a mission trip, man. I go to the Dominican. I used to go every year. So I got tired of just going down there. But the thing about it is, you see 300 people a day, you just walk up adjusting, and you don't got to worry about them suing you. Sit down, boom. They're like, oh, doctor. You know, I was supposed to go to Africa. You know, my wife was she didn't want me to go. Like, Mount Kilimanjaro with a group of docs, and they were talking about, and I did the Skype thing with them, with one of my docs, Dr. Warren Burrow. But he has this thing where his parents are missionaries in Kenya. And so he goes every year, twice a year to Kenya, and adjusts. And he was like, Doc, you really need to go. They want more African, they want blacks to come. They see white doctors go over there all the time. And they was like, man, if we can't do, they will treat you like Obama. Like he was like, Doc, I'm telling you, you need to come. So I was supposed to go this January, I didn't go. But the thing about it is, it's on my to-do list. It's on my to-do list. You gotta go out there, you gotta get your hands on people, you gotta practice. If you're having trouble getting people in the student clinic, you're going to have problems getting patients in your door. Wow. You got to really start talking to people, man. If you got to just practice having conversations. What is it, Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People. You know, Simon Sinek, Start With Why. Those are nuggets. Those are good books. You know, so create an office policy too where everybody gets checked. That's what we have in the office. And we train on it. So if you come to my office, my CAs be like, have you ever been checked before? Doesn't mean you're getting adjusted. We're just going to check you to see what we can do to help improve your life. And most people say, yeah, no, I haven't. Let me try it. Because the public's perception of chiropractic is about car accidents, low back pain, and can you do this, and can you just bill my insurance, you know, and they'll go to these other doctors and they'll get a $1,600 bill and pay it. And they don't even touch them. They don't even touch them. Value yourself, know your worth. You got to be congruent with health as a 6 issue. What do y'all think that means? What do y'all think that means? You got to be congruent with health. You got to look the part. You got to practice what you preach. You can't be overweight talking about health. You can't be smoking cigarettes talking about being healthy. Because you go and use somebody's face and they smelling alcohol where you done had a drink during the break. I've seen people do all kinds of stuff. You have to be congruent. You can't have a bad diet Because this world is small with social media and all this stuff and different things. You know, I practice and then I go to the grocery store and I'll never forget it. And I was getting a 6-pack. Come on, we have a little get together at the house. Patient was like, Dr. John, you drink? Like, yeah. I was like, yeah.
Right, see?
you gotta be careful about it. You can't be turning up and all that stuff, man. But right now, I mean, back in the day, you could probably be somewhere and nobody knew where you're at, right in the same city. But now it's crazy. And if you're talking about preaching all this stuff and you're not living it, you see the disconnect, you see the incongruency. You have to be that. You have to be that. You have to be that. I can't stress you on that. You have to walk like health. You have to be congruent with it. And I'm starting to look at it now because I'm starting to see people die. I had a 36-year-old patient just die from a massive heart attack. I had a 39-year-old patient get a stent. And then it's all these different things, man, and it's basically just eating bad food. Right. And stress levels. And you're getting people with breaking out with shame, all kinds of stuff just because they're overloaded with stress. So you have to learn how to manage your lifestyle to the point where you're talking about something. Like would you go to a trainer at the gym, he's walking around, he's like, hey, I'm a trainer. And he's walking around and he can't even lift weight, or he can't even do none of the stuff he's telling you. So why would you go to a chiropractor talking about health and standing up posture, and they're like this? And they talking about their back hurt too. Y'all can sit in there and trade stories. Right? You got to be congruent with what you're saying. And this is just real talk with a lot of different things. And then the number 7 value is you gotta bring value. You gotta bring value. You gotta bring value. I can't stress that enough. You have to bring value. Value is what you're contributing to the world. See, most people think about what they can get. If I do this, I can get this. I'm coming here so I can get the knowledge so I can go open my own practice. Those relationships never really work. Y'all gonna end up being mad at each other to the point because you didn't get what you thought you was gonna get, and really at the end of the day, you didn't contribute anything. I had people that were coming in there, and I had this one associate and didn't want to do nothing. Great personality. Oh yeah, I can do this. I'm ready to rock and roll. And they were standing up in there, and then patients come in, they just freeze, and I was like, you know, the walls don't need help being held up. You know, it's a pretty solid building, right? So we don't need anybody sucking up air in our office. You got to contribute air. You got to contribute. Contribute. It's a team thing. And if you're not contributing, you'll be off the team. It's the same thing with the Lakers. The same thing with the Carolina Panthers, #1 in the Super Bowl, by the way. They're going to take it. It's #1 with them with Cam. It's the same thing. If you can't contribute to helping them win the game, they're going to cut you off the team. And that's the reality of it. So when you go, if you decide to actually go to work with another doc, think about what you can contribute. Now the other thing too, if you decide to open your own office, think about what you can contribute to the world or the community. If you don't contribute anything to the community, it's the same principle. Whether you own your own office or whether you work for somebody else. Whether you sell Mary Kay or whether you're a chiropractor, it's the same thing. What are you contributing? And people say, well, how do you understand how to do this stuff? So you got to think about what you can contribute. The more you contribute, guess what? The more value you bring and the more money you can make. The more you contribute. Value what you do and charge. That's the last principle I will say with value. A chiropractic adjustment, you set the price at it and you don't discount it. So when I go in there and I sit down, the hardest problem I have with doctors, you used to be broke out of school, so you have this poverty complex. So you come in there and you be like, man, because you don't have $2,500 to pay for a care plan, so you don't feel comfortable asking for $2,500 for a care plan. That's not the point. If you go and you say, man, I'm going to sell cars, some people go and they work at Mercedes-Benz dealerships or Lexus, whatever, and they don't have the money to afford the car, but they still sell it because they see the value in the car. You have to value chiropractic. You see the value in it. So when I sit down and I say, I'm going to put this down, and this down, and this is what it is, that's what my value is. That's how I'm going to change your life. If you can't see value in that, this is not a good relationship. You need to go to a chiropractor down the street. Because what's going to end up happening at the end of the day, if it doesn't work for them, they're going to say, I tried it, and then that's another check against chiropractic. Well, I tried it, didn't work for me. Chiropractic works. I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for chiropractic and standing like that. That's why I'm not afraid to share my story. But the thing about it is you have to charge, and I see it in our community, right? Because they say that's your cousin, or that's just somebody at your church, and so you're gonna go in there, you're gonna be like, well, I'm gonna just take 50% off yours. So some people come in, they say, well, Doc, can you just bill my insurance? I don't have the running money for co-pays. You know, I got this lady that came in. She called off. She came in. She was a previous patient actually, and I don't know back then what the situation was. I didn't see her, but she was a previous patient in the office, and so she was like. Let me paint a picture for you. First of all, she has a torn meniscus. She's 325 pounds. She's 5 foot even. She's morbidly obese. She's suffers from severe depression. She suffers all these different things, right? And so she was coming in. She was just like, I thought my Medicare would pay for this, and I thought no. So you have a deductible. You also have this. You have this, and then for the amount of work you need, this is what it's going to take to get you better. At the end of the day, you can't call the lease company or come in and be like, I don't have today because I was seeing these patients and they didn't pay me yet. They want their money. So you need to get your money so you can actually do the things that you need to do and pay Palmer back. Or National or wherever, you know what I'm saying? All these different things. So second thing is that value thing. And that's one of the things that I will look at right there, recapping that. One of the things I want to say, and I listened to DeMartini, I've done a lot of his work, and one of the things he said is when the voice and the vision on the inside is more profound and more clear and loud than all the opinions and the voice on the outside, you begin to master your life. I still work with that today because you're going to have all these different distractions. So listen to yourself. My message to that right there is let innate guide you. Innate is so powerful, man. How you can explain how mom and dad got together with a little compilation. Next thing you know, 2 cells got together, and here we are today. And that stuff still happens. With no needle, no draw, all she had to do was eat and rub the stomach a little bit, the baby, you know, to come out. And then she didn't really got nowhere to get milk. She just latch on. That's innate intelligence. Like, that's what we work with. Like, that's like the coolest. Like, that's not cortisol. That's not ibuprofen. That's the story. That's what people want to hear. You got to take that faith. So one of the things I want to say is, what are you going to contribute to the world? Let it be great because it's your life work. Thank you.